Hi, welcome to episode 29 of Cougars on Cougars. Let's address our beautiful set. First of all, you may notice that you have entered the whimsical world, the wizarding world of Cougs on Cougs. You might also notice I'm wearing my Slytherin Prefect badge and my Deathly Hallows necklace.
It was also J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter's birthdays yesterday.
Yes, that's why. That's why for all of the things. Yes. So we're celebrating their birthdays and also a new book. It's not really a book, it's more of a play script for those who are wondering why everyone was talking about Harry Potter again. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is now available. There were midnight releases. It was just like it was 2007 all over again.
Also, for some of us, we never stopped talking about Harry Potter.
Some of us, I don't know who.
It is always relevant.
And also, yeah, you'll see why we're going to do a Harry Potter themed segment also in honor of these notable events. So, but as always, we will start with our notable quotable, and it actually came to us via one of our guests' Twitter feed. We were so lucky to get to talk with Jonah Trinnaman's mom, and she is just awesome, and we got a really great look into Jonah's personality, what he's going to be like on and off the field, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. But
definite new favorite player.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, this quote comes from Ken Blanchard. Wow. It says, "Vision comes alive when everyone sees where his or her contribution makes a difference." So
that's deep.
It is. It's a good team quote, too. That's what you need.
We need a good team quote headed into fall camp. This is the last Cougs on Cougs before fall camp. # blessed.
We made it through the summer. Hallelujah.
Congratulations, everybody.
We had a contest last week. If you remember, we did our Promposals about how the Big 12 should invite BYU into the conference, which may or may not still happen. We're still waiting.
Yeah, update on that. We don't have one.
We had a lot of entries, and we wanted to share some of our
really
favorites
fun
with
ones.
them. So let's start with Mike on Twitter. So this is at 36mTaylor. He submitted one that was like a conference bingo, like a general conference bingo,
right,
where they announced during that BYU's in the Big 12.
There's Big and 12 on the bingo board, and
that was pretty
cool. How
clever.
funny would that be if President Monson, if they were like announcing temples and they're just like, oh yeah, and also BYU got into the Big 12. So those high up church officials are involved in this. So hey,
Board of Trustees, they make those kinds of decisions.
So we loved that one. Another really good one we got was from Pat. She sent us a few, but this was one of our favorites that she sent us. They could prompose to us on a blimp.
Goodyear blimp.
Will you Big 12? I mean, the verbiage suffers a little, but we get the idea.
Limited space there. Soul Kicks made us a video of they use their shoes to. You'll have to watch it.
Yeah, so Soul Kicks, if you don't know, they make custom shoes.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they had the Texas shoes standing nervous in a corner. That was really funny. So we'll embed that in the article. It's just a quick 1-minute video, but we thought that was really fun. So thanks to them for participating.
And then we had...
This is our runner-up. We love this one.
This is from the Dornan family, and it's a pretty traditional prom.
It's like one of those poster boards you make. Tip candy too. We would be crushed, and it's blue crushed soda. If you didn't say yes, because we would win you a lot of, and then it's a picture of ring pops. You could tape ring pops to the poster. Y plus Big 12 equals, is that Smurfs kissing?
It is Smurfs kissing.
They're blue.
That's true.
No disputes there.
Very nice.
That's our favorite color.
But that was our winners, this comes from Calvin Barrett, and he sent us a couple that we really liked.
Yeah.
This one was, raise your hand if you have a national championship, and it's all the mascots of the schools that, might get in.
No hands raised.
Except for Cosmo. So it says, I guess that settles it. But the one that we chose to win is this one.
It says the Big 12 would be honored to associate with the Big 12.
That's so appropriate.
Come on,
BYU fans.
that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Speaking of the Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Calvin, and we will mail that Leap of Faith photo right over to you. That'll be fun to have. We are so excited to be joined by Jonah Trinnaman's mom, Laura. You can find her on Twitter at Laura Trinnaman. We'll put that up for you. But this is kind of part of our series. We'll put this on the Perfect Fit. It's kind of a mix of the Perfect Fan and new Cougs on the block. Because Jonah is new to us. He's a Snow College transfer. And also, she's mom. So she is what we call the Perfect Fan. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. And Jess got our first question for her.
I do. So first question is, when did you know that Jonah really loved and was serious about football?
I don't think we ever knew that he wasn't. So his favorite attire as a toddler was diaper and Sunday shoes with his football. And that was, I have a million pictures. But it was before he was 3. And my husband had a BYU football game on, and he walked past the TV and just kind of stopped and watched for a minute, and he had his football arm but pointed at the screen and said, "That's what I'm going to be doing someday."
Seriously.
So after that, he slept in his BYU helmet for years. We'd have to take it off after he went to bed.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of stuck and just always been something. He got a little involved with baseball a little bit, and he likes basketball a little bit too, but football was his
first and only love, kind of.
Yes.
We did read that Jonah was a BYU fan growing up, and now we have proof because he was sleeping in a BYU helmet. But so where did he get that? Are you and your husband just huge BYU fans?
We're huge football fans, college and professional football fans, but we love it. It's our favorite sport. So we kind of watched everybody, but when he was a toddler, we worked really closely with the Black Student Union at BYU, and so he had a lot of players coming in and out. I'd go down to the football office, carrying he and his brother and doing work with Brian Mitchell and Dennis Simmons, and so he had that access to those guys. We knew them personally. We really didn't know them from the football side because we didn't go to games. We just kind of watch on TV, but he just really identified with those Black football players, and that's just kind of where his love. He kind of envisioned himself like them, so it kind of stuck.
We don't know very much about Jonah, so we're wondering if you could share a funny story about him, maybe something when he was little.
Well, my husband reminded me of one on the way down, which goes along with your last question, but we moved back to Utah when he was about 8. So he had a little bit more access to, we'd been living in Taiwan, and so couldn't catch the games there, so we could watch. And so he got that, the year we were back, Curtis Brown had this breakout great season.
So underrated.
And Jonah was playing wide running back at that point in Little League and stuff. And he was desperate for us to change his name to Curtis Brown. He asked he came to James and I and said, "Where do we go to get the legal forms?"
No.
His little sister was a toddler, and she called him nothing but Curtis. He had his younger siblings convinced that was his new name, and so for a year we did that.
That's
so
amazing.
Until we finally decided that.
Did you and your husband call him Curtis?
No, refused. No, you're Jonah. We're not changing your name. But he was quite intent. But the story I thought of originally is, again, the whole football thing is when he was 3, we had 4 kids under the age of 4.
Oh my God.
And so we had a new baby, and from the time she was a newborn, he would climb into her crib anytime she whimpered. So we'd put her to bed, she'd whimper, and Jonah would be right there. He loves the babies and the little kids. And he would climb into the crib, put her under his arm like a little football, and climb out and hand her to me. And I was scared to death. Something horrible is going to happen.
Imagine.
We're going to break her back or head injury. But one day I was folding laundry downstairs, and they were playing quietly upstairs, and she was in bed asleep, and I hear this huge thud. And I go running because this baby's screaming. And Jonah's in the crib looking out at the floor, and she's laying on the floor in the middle of the floor screaming. And her 2-year-old little sister is just looking at her. And I'm like, "What happened?" Jonah's like, "I threw her to Taya, and she didn't catch her."
Oh, no.
Dude, you can't throw the baby like a football.
Okay, our next question is, what are some ways that you guys cope with tough losses or help Jonah do so? Because we all know those losses that just sting you.
Well, just thinking through that, Jonah handles losses amazingly.
Really?
I think I probably have the hardest time with it, but I kind of feed off of him. After a game, he'll want to go from start to finish and just analyze and talk through everything that happened. But he's more intent on, it takes a whole team to lose a game. It's just not on one person. So he's not hard on himself, and he's really good to gauge his teammates and how they're feeling about how they did, and help them understand that, they weren't a deciding factor in a loss. And then within hours, he's quickly on to the focus of the next.
So on the flip side of that, do you have a favorite memory from a win?
Moment that sticks out.
He had a game in Arizona for Snow College last year that was just insane.
I read about that.
And it was the Utah coaches were there, and every time I'd see him after, they'd say, could have been his whole highlight film. That was just such an amazing game, and that was one that you're like smiling for days after and watching the highlights over and over. That one was awesome. But I think in his sports accomplishments, I've been the most proud of him with the Snow College Male Athlete of the Year award, because he didn't have any teammates or coaches there. They weren't a part of it. It was the college and the student body, and I haven't seen him really take something so seriously, and he was really, really proud of that award, and that made me pretty proud as a mom that he liked being recognized for. That's kind of my football favorite so far.
So speaking to that and kind of his performance in the Arizona game, why should Cougar fans be excited to see him on the field?
You're not biased at all, right?
It's hard for me to pump my kid. We try to be pretty
keep him level-headed.
Low-key, exactly. But the whole ego thing. But
Jonah, turn this part off.
So I was just thinking about the things that I love. I love him breaking tackles. I love his speed when he's after that end zone. Nothing gets in his way. His kick returns are so excited. That's one of my favorite parts. But my favorite part is blocking, which never gets talked about. But it took him a while to get aggressive, and now he'll trash talk a little bit, but then, he gets in trouble by the coaches because he lifts the guy up and pats him on the butt, and, they're best friends forever, and coaches hate that, but because he's not supposed to be making friends
enemies
on the field. But the blocking, I think that there's things that, and another thing is he has no idea what he can do yet. He's so athletically still coming into his own that even just this off-season catch with the players and things, he's really learning
new stuff
and building confidence in what he can do and how he compares to the other players.
So as his mom, we have to ask, does he have a favorite dinner that you make?
Or favorite food in general?
Hey, that's fine.
For us, it's freezer meals with 9 kids.
We don't judge.
It's whatever they'll fix for themselves. No, he would live on salmon every single meal.
Salmon?
Yes,
that's good.
Salmon.
I don't like salmon.
He loves grilled salmon.
You don't like it?
Yeah. Second favorite is steak or anything that's beef. And he does vegetables, but if he can't have his favorite stuff, Skittles and Cheez-Its, he would live on.
Skittles and Cheez-Its.
Okay, because I was going to ask if salmon is his favorite, so he does have a junk food complex?
He does.
Okay.
The Skittles and the Cheez-Its, yes. Cheez-Its and Skittles.
Does he cook his own salmon?
Yeah, who
He does.
grills
Oh,
that?
no.
Oh, no.
Does your husband grill?
No. He does.
Okay.
Yes. And Chili's is always the backup, too. Chili's has a grilled salmon that he likes, so.
Well, just kind of trying to get to know him off the field a little bit better. If you could explain his personality in 3 words, what 3 words would you choose? I know, it's hard, sorry.
Hyper, focused, intense. He's in his head. It's more than 1 word, but he's totally cerebral.
Okay,
He's very non-judgmental. He loves everybody and makes friends with everybody. And he's humble. He's grateful for everything that he has. He's just extremely humble. But his siblings wanted me to add he's mature and he's competitive, which I guess they see more than I do.
Probably they
to be with him. And that he's a right fighter. He expects fairness across the board for everybody. He likes everybody to be treated equally and fairly.
So we had one more kind of fun question. So as you'll see throughout the episode, Jess and I are going to be sorting some athletes into Harry Potter houses because we're Harry Potter freaks, and we had a new book come out for the first time in how many years. But Jess?
So we have to ask you, which Hogwarts house would Jonah be in?
Which I know nothing of Harry Potter. So I had to go to the kids and my husband, and they were adamant it would be Gryffindor.
Oh.
Okay.
Because they say he's brave. He's a team leader. He's good. And he's right, and he's a fair fighter.
I could see him in Gryffindor. I could see him in Hufflepuff, too. He just seems like a big, huge sweetheart. too.
He does.
So
He is.
anyway, we're really excited to have him, and thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to talk about him.
Okay, so we said we were going to do a segment that had to do with our Harry Potter set, and we are. We're going to sort athletes into houses because we have a lot of athletes with a lot of personality, and we really identify with Hogwarts houses. We have been sorted, just to get this out there, Jess is in Ravenclaw, I'm in Slytherin. So we're going to just draw some names and go into why we think they're in which house. I know I want to get on my soapbox for a minute because especially fans with limited knowledge of Harry Potter tend to think that, like, everyone cool is in Gryffindor and everyone mean who's a bully is in Slytherin and only nerds are in Ravenclaw and losers are in Hufflepuff. We're just going to throw that out there. That is absolutely not true. I find the sorting test on Pottermore to be, like, the most accurate personality quiz there is.
Test. Yeah.
So, I mean, don't be prejudiced about houses, just like you wouldn't be prejudiced about people.
Hey, J.K. Rowling says that everyone should aspire to be a Hufflepuff. So.
And I kind of low-key do. Some of my favorite people are Hufflepuffs. So before you watch this with your, judgmental glasses on, good people come from every house. So,
That's true.
And then just if you kind of want to say, for those who don't know Harry Potter, we'll give you a very brief description of the houses. But for the long, detailed description, we recommend reading the books.
So there's 4 houses in Hogwarts, the school. So first one is Gryffindor. That's where Harry Potter is. He's in Gryffindor.
You've probably heard of it.
So just generally, Gryffindors value courage, bravery, nerve, and chivalry. So those are your Gryffindors. Hufflepuffs value hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. And then Ravenclaws, like me, value intelligence, creativity, learning, and wit. And then our Slytherins, like Mary, value ambition, cunning, leadership, and resourcefulness.
Here we go.
Okay.
We don't have a sorting hat. Well, we do have a sorting hat. It just is like
A BYU hat.
elevated game sorting hat. Okay, and I don't know who these athletes are, so these are going to be on the spot here. Oh, Tanner Mangum.
Wow, starting with Tanner.
I was going to actually mention Tanner when we were talking about Gryffindor, because in Media Day, they did that web chat series, and they actually asked this question, and Tanner said that he would be a Gryffindor, right? Was it Tanner who said he would be a Gryffindor?
Yep, it was.
And he would be. I don't dispute that. Do you dispute that?
Nope, 100% agree.
Like, when I think of Gryffindor, actually Tanner kind of reminds me of Harry Potter in some ways. And I always say this about Tanner. I love him, but he's kind of got that little crazy adrenaline thing where he, like, loves the competition, which I think is totally a Gryffindor characteristic.
Oh, just the fact that he came into that game as a freshman, the Nebraska game.
With a smile on his face.
Won it.
Yeah.
That shows a lot of nerve.
Tanner's Gryffindor, though. No questions there. So that was an easy one.
Yeah, that was easy. Okay.
Jess's turn.
Oh. Johnny Linehan. This is funny because he was the other one that was in that interview
together.
with Tanner.
And did Tanner say Johnny would be in Hufflepuff?
No,
or
Johnny said that he would be.
I love that Johnny owned that. And I hope he doesn't think that that's an insult. He kind of totally is.
He is.
Which is not an insult. It's, what is it? Hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. And Hufflepuffs are also really funny, and Johnny is really funny.
He seems really loyal, too.
Yeah. And, we haven't disagreed yet. So there we go. We will. If we get Taysom, we will.
That's probably true.
Oh, Kyle Davis, Ravenclaw. He's like Kyle Davis is super, super intellectual, super into politics, kind of, I don't know, he's funny. We've heard he's a funny guy from his mom. She told us that, but he's just always been invested in politics and academics. Isn't he?
I think
What's
he's a little
his
more
major?
serious.
Yeah.
Counting?
He's got a hard major.
Something like that.
So,
He's
anyway, still don't disagree here. Ravenclaw.
Okay.
Fellow Ravenclaw for you. I need a fellow Slytherin.
You do. Nick Emery.
There he is.
I think we can both agree that Nick is a Slytherin.
Yeah, what ambition, cunning, leadership, and resourcefulness. I just described Nick Emery.
You did.
I know. So, and, he's got a little feistiness in him.
A little feistiness?
He might have punched someone last season. But not all Slytherins are bullies. And Nick's not a bully.
That's true.
We just get a little fired up sometimes. It's fine. Tom Homo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had to throw that one in.
I think he might be in Slytherin with me. I'm not going to lie.
I actually thought that too initially.
He gets stuff done.
He does.
And he's
got the leadership.
Ambitious
He
leadership,
He's resourceful. You have to be BYU's athletic director, right?
Yeah, I will be in the same house as him any day.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams. Yes, another Slytherin.
Are you just putting all your favorites in your house?
No. He is so ambitious. I would say he's got that cunning going on. And also, we have that picture I'll try and find of him in that Slytherin getup.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, where's my Slytherin scarf? Production assistant, give me my Slytherin scarf, please. I think his scarf looks like this. I made this, by the way. So...
I'm impressed.
It's really bad.
You could make me a Ravenclaw one.
Okay.
Coach Satake.
Hufflepuff.
That's
I don't know why I went there.
No, if you look at the things that Hufflepuffs value, that sounds exactly like
Well, yeah, and he's
Coach
so
Satake.
easy to get along with, which is, I think, why I went Hufflepuff. Because Hufflepuffs are just the biggest sweethearts, and Coach Satake is just a huge
Yeah, and you can tell he does value hard work and patience and loyalty to his school, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, is that what you thought? Okay.
One of my very favorites, Eric Mika. What do you think?
Gryffindor.
I could see him as a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff.
I think he's too, this is going to sound bad, but I think he's, like, too well-liked to be in Hufflepuff. Like, he reminds me of another Harry Potter type guy.
Yeah, he could be...
I mean, not that there aren't well-liked
I think he'd
people
be very popular in any house he was in. He's just that kind of personality.
He really would be, but I think
I could see him in
think he's
Gryffindor.
pretty Gryffindor. Mitch and Garrett Juergens, why are they on the same thing?
Because they're twins.
I think I'd put them probably both in Hufflepuff, to be honest. And I actually did know them personally freshman year, and they both would do anything for anyone. They're just the biggest sweethearts. They love to help people. They're really down to earth. They're extremely loyal. So I could see them both in Hufflepuff.
TJ Haas.
We did talk to his mom, so we should know. He's totally a goofball. That story about him going to sit by Michael Jordan, he's just this, like, little quirky goofball who's not afraid of anything.
So would that put him in Gryffindor?
Crazy talented. So I would not dispute Gryffindor. He does seem really, really brave. Let's go Gryffindor.
Okay.
And he has red hair, so...
Wait, he has red hair, so that puts him in Gryffindor with the Weasleys? Is that where you're going with that?
He should be a Weasley!
Oh,
okay,
great.
Coach Detmer.
Ooh, I'd probably put him in a Hufflepuff.
Coach Detmer has so much personality, it's hard to wrangle it all in. And you said Hufflepuff?
I think patience is like an overwhelming characteristic.
Yeah. Let's go Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Okay, this is our last one. This is where we probably will
Can
see
you guess
something.
which one this is?
We'll give you a hint. He's one of the quarterbacks, and he's not the one we already sorted.
Taysom Hill.
And it's not Bo Hodge. I think Taysom is in Ravenclaw, and Jess thinks he is in...
I actually think he's in Hufflepuff.
What the?
I know.
I thought you thought he was in Gryffindor.
I talked about this with my mother, of all people, because she's a huge Harry Potter fan, and we talked about this. And she convinced me, actually, because I originally thought he'd be a Gryffindor, right?
I could see him in Gryffindor, but not as much as I see him in Ravenclaw.
Okay, but now if you look at the Hufflepuff characteristics, does this not sound like Taysom Hill? Hard work. Patience. He's been through 3 injuries, right?
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
He came back to BYU. He could have gone anywhere else, but he came back because he's a BYU guy.
I just think that Taysom is undervalued for his intellect. Taysom is so smart, and I think that's part of the reason he's so good at football is because he's so intellectual. He's such a thinker. He's got a heart. He's a finance business guy, and I think that he is more reserved, and I think that he is more serious. I don't really see him as your class clown type of guy.
I think he has some wit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see him in there, too. But
you think it's between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff now, not Ravenclaw and Gryffindor?
I do.
He's hard because, honestly, he could be in Slytherin also. He's so ambitious. Who has drive like Taysom has drive? Kyle Collinsworth.
I don't know.
Kyle Collinsworth would be Slytherin. He wasn't in here. But I could honestly, I feel like you can, with Taysom, you can make a case for every single house, and I would buy into a little bit. For me, Ravenclaw speaks out a little bit more, but I don't know. We'll put a pull up for Taysom for sure. Okay, it's time for Talk of the Town, and we start with big news for our guy, Jimmer. We finally know what he's doing, and unfortunately, it isn't the NBA, but he is going overseas to play in China, so not Europe, but for Yao Ming's team, the Shanghai Sharks. So we're kind of bummed it's not the NBA, but we know he's going to just be a superstar over in China, and we wish him the best of luck. We know where Corey Calvert is going now. He announced via his Instagram and Twitter that he is going to transfer to UVU to play for Mark Pope with Jake Toulson and Isaac Nielsen. We are just creating quite the contingent over there. So he should be able to play pretty soon, seeing as he transferred so early in BYU season. But good luck to Corey, and we can't wait for the Parkway Collision or whatever they call that series now. Yoli Childs got baptized. This kind of came out of nowhere for us. We just found out via Eric's Instagram, and this picture is so great. It's just of Eric with Yoli in his baptism suit and with these sister missionaries who just look tiny, and I can say that because I'm short. But we're really happy for Yoli. That's really exciting for him. So BYU managed to double the amount of players on the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year watch list. So it's 3 more than any other school. So yeah, we're kind of owning it. We like our odds there and hope to see one of our guys win. But that's really cool.
Okay, other big news. Coach Cahoon had his jersey number retired. We mentioned this before, but this is with Montreal Alouettes, and this was over the weekend. True. So, really nice picture of him with his family. They had a nice ceremony, and his jersey's been retired.
Yeah, well deserved. So, congratulations to Coach Cahoon. And if you didn't know...
I was going to say. He's been called the Michael Jordan of the CFL. By the way.
Oh, and I was going to say, if you didn't know, he's related to the governor.
Yeah, he married the governor's daughter.
So I forgot. I mean, I think I had heard that, but I forgot. Okay, so we've seen about 5 billion Big 12 tweets, and most of them are, like, pretty annoying, but some of them have been super funny. Like this one from Ben, who is at DryFlyElk on Twitter, and he compared it to The Bachelor, to the teams that want to get in. And he said the Big 12 deciding on the final candidates is especially appropriate because the Bachelor finale was this week. Jess and I just love those pop culture crossovers, and he said that the Big 12 needs to give BYU the rose and that we don't want any more sad limo rides, which is true. So that's the first one.
This other one comes from @BigYFan. It says, how to kidnap BYU fans. And it's a white van that says Big 12 expansion info on it. Isn't that the truth?
Which is, it's funny because it's true. It's one of those things. People are so desperate, they are doing ridiculous things. They really are. That tweet is hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
Another really funny tweet that we had comes from our favorite Hufflepuff, about our other favorite Hufflepuff. Johnny said that Coach Sataki told him that he needs to buy a Rock Pass. Those went on sale this week because BYU won't be punting this season. So he's not allowed on the sideline. He has been banished.
He has to watch from the stands, which is the rest of us.
A risky move. So I hope he got his Rock Pass.
He did, actually. He tweeted out confirmation. So, there you go.
Oh, dear. Oh, here, Jess had something interesting happen to her at lunch today, on Monday.
On Monday, yeah. So I was at lunch at Malawi's on Monday and walked in right at the same time as all of the BYU basketball coaches.
All of them.
Every single
Seriously.
one. I was like looking around. I was like, hey, every single one of them's here. And they were there with the kid and his parents. I was like, that has to be a recruit. So it took me a while to figure out who it was, but it was Colby Leifson, who is a shooting guard from Atlanta, Georgia.
A real good one, too.
Yeah, man, he can shoot the ball. And so he was just offered a scholarship today.
So we saw Gregor Bell tweet out this Monday evening that he had been offered a scholarship, and Jess saw that happening. So there you go. We are insiders, and we didn't even know it. So just kidding. Don't quote us on that. Our last thing for Talk of the Town, and this is big, and we predicted it. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. TJ Haas, he proposed to his high school sweetheart. Her name is Lauren, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a date, too. Didn't you say, according to her Instagram, it's September
22nd, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so cute picture there.
Yeah, really
Again,
cute.
no surprise, but man, that's the whole Lone Peak 3 right there.
They're gone, off the market. So who's next? We're going on the record. I'm going to say Elijah.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's what we have. What we've got coming up. The first thing, which we are so excited about, is fall camp finally starts on Thursday. We have been counting down on our last 3 shows, so I think it's like 2 days from when the show will go up. But
Can I tell you how thrilled I am to have something other than the freaking Big 12 to talk about?
It better work. People better not ignore. If you ignore fall camp to talk about the Big 12, I will come after you personally.
Seriously, I'm so excited about that.
I know, me too.
Thursday. And then BYU 50 again this week. So we've got Massachusetts Wednesday, Michigan Thursday, Minnesota Friday, and Saturday is Utah. So there will be 30 or more boxes around the state So good luck to all you people going after those.
Yeah.
It should be pretty competitive here in Utah, I'm sure.
In Utah, they're going to do the thing where if you get there, they're going to hold competitions. So bring your A game, make sure you're wearing your BYU shirts, and we hope to bring you some sort of coverage from the drops in Utah. Also, the Olympics start this week. Yeah. So we're still mad that Shaq Walker didn't qualify and he got gypped.
There's some other Cougars in the Olympics or alumni.
Swimming, right? So, yep.
Plus, the Olympics are just a good time. I'm excited. I love the Olympics.
I know. So fun. Go USA. USA.
Yes.
So that's what we've got. And this week, our sponsors are Willie and Tay. They performed at the Velour this week. So check out Coach Rose's daughter, the musician.
Very cool. Also brought to you by Chase's Beard, because we can't let that go by without commenting on it, and he needs a trim.
Hashtag married people who admire Chase Fisher.
Yes. Forever, even with the beard. Until next time, mischief managed.
May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.